Briana, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Exciting times. We have Divorced Sistas. How's that going? How's it's been? Feels like whatever I've been reading online so far, things have been good on that.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's been like, the audience reception has been amazing. People are really loving it. We're number one on BET Plus. So it's just been a really I'm grateful for it all. It's been a whirlwind. I'm happy that people are engaging with the show and liking it and connecting to it. So yeah.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Tiffany really makes a strong impression right from the start. Like, what drew you to this role, and what excited you about stepping into her shoes?
Well, the thing is, I actually didn't audition for Tiffany. I
Oh
auditioned for
wow.
Eva. Yeah. And during our like chemistry read, Tyler actually he switched the roles on us. So he was like, I want you to read for this. And the minute that
Okay.
I read Tiffany, I was like, oh, I understand who she is. She's very close to me in terms of how she engages with the world and how she engages with her friends. So how I stepped into the role was I just tried to like kind of dig into the parts of Tiffany that I have experience with in terms of pain
Mm.
and loss of love, and also hope for new love, but also like the importance of female friendship and female bonding. So it was honestly, it felt like I know Tiffany. Tiffany's very close. Is the point.
Uh, so you booked the role of Tiffany. How did when you started reading the script? How did you like the reintroduction of like her single life and career confidence? Like, how did you put yourself into that?
Well, life has a way of imitating art, and
Okay.
art has a way of imitating life. So, in my own life, I had been probably in the past, like probably 2 or 3 years, kind of on a bit of a hiatus.
Mm.
And December 2023, January 2024, like new love came into my life. So I really just tapped into that emotion of trying one more time and like allowing myself to have hope one more time. Maybe this will be the one that changes my opinion on love and my opinion on commitment and whatnot. So I tapped into it by examining my own life. A lot of it is like not I'd have to do too much character work with her because she feels so familiar to me. And I can relate with so much of what she goes through. So
Did you bounce any ideas on and off between Tyler or like inputs of how you wanted to play this character?
well, Tyler, was really great about him is he trusts us to kind of take
Okay.
over. If he
Yeah.
sees something in you, he'll let you have the freedom to explore it. There were many times on set where I was like, I'm gonna do this more comedically and I'll ask for forgiveness over permission. So like I would try to, punch stuff up a little bit or add little things here and there towards the end of the season. And it was all welcomed with open arms. And a couple of my castmates and I, we talked about how we wanted to shape the journey of the characters more specifically for us. And like we were just able to artistically play the way that we wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the premise of the big show is like everybody's divorced in that little group. That's what it feels like from what I've seen so far too. But now, with Tiffany, she might have a little bit of love happening in her way.
She might. I can't say too much,
Right.
but yes, like what you're feeling is what you're supposed to be feeling. Like, oh, maybe there's hope for her after all. And maybe there is. Gotta
How do you
watch.
think how do you think she's approaching that now before her divorce?
Well, like you mean how she's approaching love before and after her divorce?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think like with anybody, with more caution, after you've been like hurt or betrayed or heartbroken, like you understand that level of pain and you don't really want to go through that again. But that's a part of
Mm,
what you have to risk to have any type of real, lasting, significant connection. So I think she's approaching it with caution, of course, but also with the understanding that like I haven't met somebody who's made me feel this way in
mm,
ages, and I also deserve to have joy. Like I haven't had joy in years, and now it's like my turn for joy.
yeah. Another one key thing is like friendship too. I feel like, you gotta have the friendship, and I like
Yeah.
how the chemistry between the five of you, how quickly was it to like come together off screen, on screen, and
Yeah.
how'd you guys make it work?
Well, I think one of the things that was the most important for me and also a lot of my other castmates is like we understood that the chemistry was such a vital part of this
Yeah.
piece. And the minute we had each other's contacts, we would just be on Zooms, like running lines or just like honestly just working on the material because we shoot in such like an accelerated way on set. Um, so we didn't do too many like team dinners or anything like that because we didn't have
Okay.
time to, but we were rehearsing constantly. So we're just constantly with each other. And I think for a lot of us, this was a very significant career shift for a lot of us. So we understood the gravity of like being there for one another and supporting one another. And in that, because we're all emotionally kind of going through the same thing as actors and actresses, I think you could feel that like connective web that was
Mm,
like weaved between us because we're like we have to help each other with this. This is so important to all of us. And then now with the girls, we're all we're on a group chat with sister like, hey, I have a question about this.
yeah.
We're friends in a way that like is really authentic. But even beforehand, we just wanted to make sure like as women we were able to show up in the way that like best friends do show up for each other, even as just actresses.
Mm. So we've had a few episodes that have aired so far. Were there any scenes so far that emotional to you or like as a performer or challenge?
So far, the ones that you've seen have been like fun. They've been like
Mm,
they were very fun to play, and like right now she's just kind of living on the surface. My character's living on the surface. So I had one scene with Naomi where there was a bit of like listening and introspection to what Naomi was saying about me, but some of the more challenging, emotionally heightened scenes come later in the season. These were fun. I had a great time shooting the scenes that you've seen so
mm.
far.
How would you describe her journey then? How many episodes are we expecting this season?
Well, we have like it's a split into two. So the
Okay.
first like batch is eight, and then the second batch is eight, but that's just one season. So kind of like how they've been doing things on Netflix. That's how we're doing
Yeah.
Disney Plus. So episode eight, we're gonna have like a bit of a combustion, and then episode 16, we're gonna have a huge combustion. But my journey, Tiffany's journey, is like I feel like it's like a teenage love affair getting opened up. It's like it feels
Mm,
very, for me, very like youthful and very hopeful. And there are moments where that balloon gets popped, or there are moments where her intuition gets really, it's really spiky, and she feels something is off, but is ignoring that in the hope of a better tomorrow, right? So her instincts are speaking to her a lot, especially towards the end part of the season. But I think she becomes so infatuated and so head over heels and so open to new love that she is ignoring her better judgment. I hope I didn't give too much away.
nah. Um, is there anything you would change about Tiffany?
Oh, that's a good question. Is there anything I would change about Tiffany? You know, again, I don't want to give too much away, but
Yeah.
I wanted to play Tiffany in a way where she was empowered, and she was empowered. And
Mm,
I think I have to leave it at that right now until more airs. But no, I don't think I would. What I wanted to give her was strength and like fortitude and coming into her own presence and her own sense of self without having to get permission outside of herself through her friend group or whatever. Um, and I wanted her to make decisions. Not I don't want things to happen to her. I wanted her to make decisions. And I have to leave it at that. I cannot say
yeah.
anymore.
Would Brianna be friends with Tiffany?
I think so. I
Yeah.
love her. Brianna and Tiffany are very merged.
Mm,
So I really like how Tiffany is really loyal and she tells it how it is, and she's full of care for her friends and full of care for her community, and those are like really important values for me,
mm,
Brianna. So I wanted to instill this character with those values, just so she's more sympathetic and more human.
mm. How much did you work with the costume team for the wardrobe for like, like the post-divorce look, the energy look?
Our wardrobe, first of all, not at all. But like when I went into my fitting, I was like, this is the most talented wardrobe team I've ever in my life. And I've
Mm,
worked on a bunch of stuff, props to all of the other wardrobe stylists I've worked with, but this was so specific and they did such beautiful work on who each woman was. And you can see it. Like we're dressed
yeah.
to the nines. Like they have us looking beautiful. So I didn't input at all, but I would have actually dressed myself exactly the way that they dressed me. I talked with my coach about how Tiffany looks and dresses and how she is. And a lot of it was I walked into the room, I'm like, oh, this is what I imagined. So there was like a lot of symbiosis in that way.
Mm. As an actor, how did you balance like the tone of the show? Because we have a little little balance of like humor, drama.
Hmm.
You know,
I think a lot of my, because when we shot, I didn't get to see a lot of what other people were doing. So
okay,
when I'm watching the show, I'm kind of watching it with you because, of course, I know what happens, but I don't see how each actress is embodying what I read on the page.
yeah.
So I always thought Tiffany was like more playful and like a little bit more effervescent than the rest of her friend group. So the tone of it, I again, a lot of it was like, I hope that I'm on the money for this. This is what I instinctively feel as an actor is happening tonally.
Yeah.
And I was allowed to move in that space. So I do think it's nice to go.
You mentioned 16 episodes. Is there a specific episode that you can't, I don't, no spoilers, that you can't wait for the viewers to watch?
I think episodes 9 through 13 are places that my character starts to really come into herself. Those are like I'm really excited to see what that looks like on screen. Because I think that that's where Tiffany starts to really find her voice and she finds her own desire in the world. I'm really excited to see those. Every episode, something is happening though. Like there's
Right.
always some type of dramatic twist in every single episode. I think I just keep watching. The next one is going to be pretty interesting and pretty explosive. Yeah, honestly, every single one, there's going to be something that the viewers are like, oh. So I hope that's how they feel.
Yeah. Speaking of the viewers, last question. What do you hope to get out of this series when they tune in to watch?
I hope that people see themselves. I mean, I feel like that's a bit of a rote answer, but I do think that the power of media is you don't feel so alone in maybe some of the more darker moments in your life. So I hope that with each of our characters, women in our age group, Black women specifically in our age group, are able to reach out and say, okay, I've been through this. Here's a
Mhm.
representation, an accurate representation of like my own pain, and just knowing that I'm not alone in this feeling is enough for me to keep going another day. I've certainly been there. Like I've watched TV shows like the depths of heartbreak, and like it's literally been the thing that helps me continue to put one foot in front of the other. So I always hope to provide that, like with art. That's the most important thing, is that people are able to see the reflection of themselves. um Hopefully it heals some people. Hopefully you laugh. Hopefully like you like our looks and like you like our connection with each other. But I think the most important thing is I want to like penetrate the hearts of the people who are watching and also entertain them.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
What's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about before we end
Yeah,
this?
yeah. Actually, today I was in a movie called Stranger in My Home
Okay.
that is on Apple TV, starring Sophia Bush and Chris Carmack. And then I was also in a movie that is now on Hulu called California King, starring Joel McHale and Jimmy Tatro. So both of those things you can catch on Hulu and Apple TV, and I think Amazon as well.
So you've been busy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm so grateful. I've been super, super busy.
So is he taking a few weeks off now, jumping off to the next thing? Is that what the
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks off. What is off? What
right,
does that
right, right. You
mean? I
still got to
mean,
keep doing it, yeah.
yeah, I still gotta like, keep training and keep working towards the next goal. But yeah, I'm taking it a little bit easy, but I'm ready
Yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of get back into the dance floor
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. Brianna, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. Let's get you back on with future projects.
amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.